Hello everybody, System Chalk here with another episode of the Apostle Obsonate playthrough, playing as Ike Upscribe. Now, if memory serves, I stopped recording, I was doing the recordings last week, so this is a new one here, and I believe that I was in the middle of adjusting the board, but I don't believe I actually did that as part of the recording. So before we jump into the round today, I'm going to need some time to figure out where we are in the position because it's been about a week since I've recorded something. Let's just talk about where the different cards are and why I think this layout works a little bit better for me. So I've got the locations on the continent over here. I've got rituals here. I am going to allow myself the ability to shift them down later. There's one more level of lore past the Anthic elaboration. Well, past any of the top level lores. The final level of lore will be down here. I've got sort of the same ordering, so Forge on the far right, and then Lantern on the left, and then everything else in between for the followers. So there's only going to be four followers for each aspect at most. Some of them have fewer, so for instance Nock and Grail are only going to have 2 followers, Saliba and Rhaenyra in the case of Grail, Neville and Edith in the case of Nock. I think it's Winter and Moth that are the other ones that only have 2 regular followers. We've got the pawn sitting down here, and then beneath all of the sort of the individuals, I've got the items. So these will be. This is also going to be a little bit variable because there are different layers of items, but I'm going to eventually free up that space as I do more locations. I can only get more items as I do more expeditions, so I'll have a little bit of flexibility there. Excuse me. And the way I already had it built this way, but basically the physical objects are at the top, and then the sort of the pigments and such, those are on the bottom. Now, I have also adjusted the individuals, so people who are mentors are now at the bottom of the table. I still have sort of my threats over here, the main locations, and the mantis are over here. The rest of this area is sort of the same, and then I've reduced the books and languages to sort of be at the top here, given the fact that, for the most part, I'm going to be able to translate most of the books that I run into. Now, I do like having sort of fun layouts for each one. This is just a matter of practicality, and I realize that I only have a few, there's only so many minutes for each episode. So I wanted to at least sort of point people to sort of the major sections. If you go and see some of the stuff that I used to do on Twitch, the live broadcasts, I would usually do sort of a fun layout each time. And every once in a while I will do layouts which are sort of built around convenience. So this is not a very convenient layout. The lore is quite far away. In reality, I'm going to be using lore most often in the work slot. And so essentially when I start doing rituals, I'm probably going to move in and move out like this. But this layout works for me right here, and I figured rather than do an episode basically of me sorting out the board, I'd just review it at the end. And so we've got that done here. Let's take a look at what's happening in our verbs. So I'm still dealing with sickness. I believe this was because I didn't have the Savor's Blood until very recently. So I'm going to have to deal with a couple more rounds of sickness, and I don't believe I have any vitality, so I will want to try and generate that. We're healing that sickness there. We are currently doing our expedition, so this was... where was this? Fermier Abbey. Robert Fermier spent much of his unsavory fortune on the endowment of this monumental, forest-crowded abbey. The monks dislike visitors. Their ways are not exactly orthodox. They celebrate a certain harvest festival with unsavory vigor. So here we should be fine because we're at level 10 Moth. However, I would like to stick the Callagine in here. Now, we have notoriety, so it would be nice to have a heart follower try and fix the reputation. I believe that's already happening here. It is. At work, I am currently in the senior position, so I could try and get rid of the other Glover, but we're currently working the job as normal. So the study verb, I think it's fairly obvious. I'll use my fresh air and exercise to generate a vitality. I'll probably go and do manual labor to generate the other vitality. And then, if memory serves, we had a Season of Visions coming up? No, we don't. Okay, so I'm going to have to find a way of getting rid of the fascination as well. But I'll maybe save that for a bit later because we've sort of occupied all of our remaining slots. So the Journal of Alessandro Lacrosse, that's going to get sold because we already know Fucine. The Irreproachable Traditions. Okay, so this I can translate. I should do 2 stacks. So I can translate Latin, I can't translate Vac, and I can translate Greek. So maybe that's why I had the study verb open. So let's just clear out the expedition I have already, and then I'll worry about the remaining details. The biggest thing right now is that I am worrying about the long. The long is pretty much at our doorstep now. All right, I shrink and grow pale. Fatigue chokes my throat. I must ensure that my death serves a purpose. Another affliction. Looks like we got a Season of Sickness coming up. I cannot catch a break on that. However, I'll have a free heart in time for that. Finish. All right, I'm always the last to leave, even after the Elder Glover. So, let's take my hardened physique and health. Now, this is going to exhaust my health for a little while, and I don't have that much time. It takes me. I only have a minute away from work. A courier has arrived from our delight with a single vial of their most holy blood. One of the biggest challenges that I'll run into is that I'm going to need some health to be taken up in the Season of Sickness. The biggest thing here is that I know I'm going to have the health from my rest, and then I'm going to have at least 1 vitality for the affliction. The idea here is that in 14 seconds I'll get the other vitality. So this isn't going to be anything that ends the game for me, but I am going to have to make sure that I manage my resources reasonably well for the next little while. Oh, the Monk's a Potent Deception. Now, I messed up with the Callagine. I should have put this together a lot sooner. But we're here now. So we brought texts here with we've brought here with us certain sacred texts whose meaning is apparent only in moonlight. So I'll have to keep an eye on the Callagine. Optimism is the spice which saves, so we're okay reputation-wise. We are going to wind up generating another notoriety having done the expedition. And in fact, I would eventually like to do a ritual with the Callagine, but I think for now... I need a minute to think. Okay, let's get the translations done. The Irreproachable Traditions of the Society of the Noble Endeavor. So let's translate that. And actually, while I'm at it, let's just get a heart. Wait, where'd Leo go? Here we go. Let's get Leo back on the job. Oh dear. Say I can do the job of any 2 others together. It's not true. Not quite. Okay, let's get this back in order. And here we go. Okay, we're back to where we need to be. So what I think I'm going to do after we're done with Leo's job, I think I'm going to send Saliba off to deal with the other, or maybe Rhaenyra, because she's available. Our enemy is working to poison a follower's mind against us, so they're not already mad at me, which is good. What are they saying? Use passion to keep them loyal? This isn't always successful, but you can keep trying as long as you have passion. I don't think that's entirely true, actually. I know the last time it happened, it didn't let me do multiple attempts. Passion might sway them. If it fails, we can keep trying. I have another Season of Sickness coming up? Brutal. All right. As long as developing their connections, it's now level 10, so we have to start dealing with... we now have to start worrying about direct attacks. So Victor has sharpened his cutting to a concentrated point, but he doesn't hate me. Okay. Faith is a double-edged weapon. These monks have a great talent in the matter of believing, and so they have believed our lies. So I do need to be careful and make sure that there isn't any more money required for this expedition. Alright, the sick room grows close and stale. Time to get up. Let's deal with this affliction. Remember that we have 2 more that we're going to have to deal with. I prepared the text for study, so... The irreproachable traditions of the Society of Noble Endeavor. The members of the Society of the Noble Endeavor adopted noble names at their initiation. Parsifal, Roland, Oisin. They drew their inspiration from the Leashed Flame, which gave the island of Britain such appalling power in some histories, when Samuel Partridge has chronicled their efforts. Their endeavor was no less noble, a furious arcane conflagration which would refine them into something more than human, but such transformations are rare, and they often ended, less nobly, in ashes. Earnest speeches, affable conversation. Alright, so we've got 30 seconds. I was a bit premature on this one, so there's not going to be any reputation for this to gobble up. Alright, more sickness. This illness has damaged my health. I'll need to rest before I'm fully recovered. And I think in this case here, we're just going to do the same trick. So rather than use my work verb to do anything too exciting, I am going to do my unskilled labor just so that I can recover my health. We have a Season of Despair coming up. Oh, and we're lucky. We've got a Course of the Heart. So optimism is a spice which saves, even though it didn't result in any reputation being picked up. The fact that I was using a heart follower translated into a useful outcome. So I think what I'm going to do here, let's get Rhaenyra. Significant conversations in a smoky meeting room. What do I need from my follower? An irresistible minium to ensnare and disgrace and annoyance. I want this irritation out of my way. They may even enjoy their downfall. So we're really just doing the same trick that we did with Alden before, but work's going to be getting in the way of my summonings, and I actually really need to make sure that the summonings happen on time. All right. The monks and their miseries lie behind us. Here in their chapel courtyard, a great yew rises beside a granite altar, lidded like a sarcophagus. What's within? The space inside the altar is filled with broken cups, everyone painted red, everyone scrawled with vile graffiti, and otherwise befouled. The monks must have held great ceremonies of detestation, and kept the remains as trophies. Buried among the cup corpses are other treasures. So we'll see maybe if I can summon the Callagine again, but for now, we've got Sylvia back, we've got Porter. My apologies, Moth does have multiple followers. Okay, looks like we got some books, which is good news. So, Greek, Sanskrit, Latin, Sanskrit, more rose pearl dust. I haven't really been taking advantage of the the pigments, and one of my favorite types, the Magus von Brandt's authentic and unique account of the true tongue of the true holy land of the Highmost. Now, of course, we've already learned Aramaic from Dr. Adim, but written excitably and in some haste by a gentleman in the grip of a transcendentalist enthusiasm, but nevertheless a useful guide to Aramaic. Alright, so a bit of a question is, do I want to just plow my followers straight into the next expedition, or do I want to try and accomplish something different? Let's think a little bit about some next steps. So I was worried about fascination. It seems that I shouldn't be, because it's already gone. So this is going to turn into restlessness. Maybe I'll paint with the restlessness, but then I don't have the reputation for it. So perhaps a ritual to resummon the Callagine. Yeah, I think probably my best bet is to do You know what? I don't even need to resummon the Callagine because I will use it for Orthos Wood. The pines grow thick as hairs on a dog's back. The airs of the inner wood are chokingly thick with resin and dust. The source that brought you here claimed that in dawn times, the greatest tree and the woods... the wood's black heart served as perch for a great masked crow. All right. So we'll send the Callagine, and we will send Porter off on the expedition. We'll add the funds. In the black heart of Orthos Wood, we might find a tree where the masked crow met its peers, but the forest itself is a peril, and the cannibal clans who live here are another. So I think all moth should be enough to get us through. Alright, what are we up to here? They say I can do the job of any two others together. It's not true, not quite. So, 1 vitality here, and then we'll have another, but I don't think I need that one. Okay. I've already committed the Callagine, so not much I can do there. Let's get the commissions done, though. So we've got an edge commission. So again, this is a great example of how this isn't the most efficient layout, but we'll manage. And we will combine the Affliction and Vitality. There we go. Partridge claims to have identified consistent features among those who ascended. All of them had passed the stag door and were accounted no. All of them spoke the Chalidate invocation or a greater rite at the start of their ascension, and all of them were rich. So here we have the Ardent Orison. We've already had that before, but it doesn't hurt to get some extra lore to build things up. And let's work through our list. So, the Serenity of the Blackwood, an allegorical history of the House of Leith, who it is here implied were inspired by the centipede. Serena Blackwood is an occult alias to this day. Alright, our expedition will plans for the next challenge. It'll consume funds. I can add funds now, or I could send another follower. So, Peril-Proud Forest. Long ago, the primal trees marched from sea to sea. Some traces of their reign still survive, like this dense and choking territory of root and thorn. The practicalities of forge or the mysteries of moth may see us through. And the Watchers, mortals, perhaps even ordinary mortals, but quite a number of them. They can be fought, seduced, or deceived. So again, we've got what we need as far as moth is concerned. I'm just going to let this run. There's my extra vitality if I happen to need it. Right now, we're just going to let everything play out. The illness has damaged my health. I will need to rest before I am fully recovered. Our mortal enemy has decided on a course of action. And a half-gliss wistfulness has touched me. Alright, so we'll bring Slee back in. And the wood beneath the mantis is darker even than this place. The moth will guide our footfalls. Success is very likely. Alright, so Rhaenyra is currently on the mission. In 17 seconds we'll see how it turned out. If I'm going to do anything with the Delightful Blood, I should probably make my choice. Really depends on... well, Season of Vision's coming next. Alright, I finished the manuscript. So... 14 seconds before we'll be covered for... yeah, we'll be fine. So I think probably I can just let the despair, or the dread, show up on its own. Let's get another commission in. This will be a very substantial commission on Forge. Silly. Oh, what am I doing? There's something up ahead. We've made it through the forest. Alright. The proverbial footloose gathers travelers in a wood and leads them through, but abandons them part way. They find themselves beset by glorious monsters. Now, I'm getting close to the end. I will make sure... I don't really like... I don't like letting books sort of go So I want to read the follow-up on this, otherwise it's not going to be clear what book it came from, so we might take a little bit longer. But more importantly, my minion is returned. They found a particular temptation to which our annoyance succumbed readily, at the small cost of the utter destruction of their reputation. So with the younger Glover gone, I might rise even higher. So here I've got a little bit of extra time. I'm not really able to do anything about it quite yet. Well, I suppose right now the notoriety wouldn't be a problem, but let's take a moment here and get Leo on reputation control. Oh, and we'll fix the affliction. Now, I'd thought something bad was going to happen at 10, but apparently I was mistaken. We have... Alright, a Season of Despair is coming up next, so I can't afford to... I've actually got 2 here. Oh, here we go. Before the storm, our enemy is almost ready to attack us directly. We've recalled our spies. I was wondering when that would happen. Our enemy's connections are now so ubiquitous that they now feel confident of success in open assault. We can expect an onslaught very soon. Expedition continues. Our expedition plans for the next challenge. It'll consume funds. I can add funds now, or I could send another follower. So I need to get rid of these. I need to get rid of these as soon as possible. But obviously everything's currently occupied, so this is going to get a little dicey. All right, I've finished the manuscript. So if I had my talk verb available, I would be able to get at least one of these dread kind of dealt with. My next best option... You know what? I think I'm just going to go to the job. Curl my hands into the correct shapes and begin. And here I will take my passion. But this is going to be a very, very rocky... Oh dear. Very, very rocky... couple of turns. Actually, this works out well. So one of these dreads is going to get picked up by the Season of Visions. One of them is going to get picked up by the Season of Despair. And then we just need to generate some contentment. So, Serenity of the Black Wood. The travelers discover that they can survive if they close their eyes. They adopt a closed eye as their sign, and that they can go unnoticed if they drink from the clear, cold streams. They never forget that the proverbial footloose, the centipede, but they never forgive her either. Sorry, I am stumbling over my words. We now have the Centipede Testament, which is the equivalent of the formula Vigilant for Moth. The centipede came up out of the sands and went in under the roots. She found a new home, but now she can't go home. She creeps in everywhere else, keyholes and histories, and the channels of birth and sight and hearing. Here's what she has to say. And I apologize for the longer run, but the storm clouds are gathering. Julian is about to make his appearance, and we're definitely not in the final chapters of this playthrough, but we are about to probably take on the largest, or the most difficult set of challenges in the next couple of episodes. So I hope to see some of you on Friday. Thanks for watching.